This is not a dangerous job because things go wrong. It's dangerous because nothing is allowed to go wrong. Inside an active oil refinery, furnaces burn at 800 degrees, hydrocrackers operate at pressures that could split steel, and flammable vapor can reach ignition concentration in seconds. Every shift, every valve turn is governed by systems designed to prevent catastrophe. So what happens when those systems fail, even once? Heat, pressure, and inventory define the physical reality inside an oil refinery. Fired heaters push process streams to temperatures between 400 and 800 degrees Celsius. In catalytic reformers, the steel shell glows faintly as hydrocarbon vapors circulate at over 500 degrees Celsius. Hydrocracker reactors run at up to 2,500 pounds per square inch, enough to rupture a vessel in milliseconds if containment fails. Every line, vessel, and flange holds a calculated volume of flammable hydrocarbons under these conditions. Even in so-called ambient zones, radiant heat keeps walkways at 60 to 80 degrees Celsius. The energy stored in these units is not theoretical. A single distillation tower can contain thousands of barrels of volatile product. Pressure surges, even brief ones, can force vapor through the smallest gasket flaw, forming an invisible cloud within seconds. In the overheads of a tower, vapor concentrations can reach ignition limits, methane at 5 to 15% by volume, propane at just over 2%. The density of these gases means they pool low, seeking out drains and trenches, and waiting for a spark. Continuous operation is not just a business decision, it is a safety strategy. Shutdowns and startups introduce unpredictable transients, temperature spikes, pressure fluctuations, and unstable flows. These are the moments when systems are most vulnerable, when a routine action can become the first step in a chain reaction. Every control, every barrier, is designed to keep the process steady. In this environment, a moment's deviation from steady state is not a minor error. It is a potential loss of control, with consequences measured in seconds and in lives. Control. Inside an oil refinery is not left to chance. Every high-risk task, welding, valve isolation, confined space entry, begins with a permit to work. The superintendent reviews a digital dashboard showing open permits, each tagged to a specific unit, shift, and work team. The process starts with a formal request. A supervisor details the job, location, and hazards. The permit system pulls live data from the maintenance scheduler and piping diagrams, flagging potential conflicts. No permit is issued until hazards are logged. Gas tests confirm safe levels, and every isolation point is marked on the digital piping and instrumentation diagram. Authorization moves in layers. The area operator signs first, then the shift supervisor, and finally, a safety officer. For hot work, gas detectors must read below 10% of the lower explosive limit. Only then does the system allow the work to proceed. Lockout and tagout devices are applied, red hasps, danger tags, and personal locks from each authorized worker. A third-party verifier checks every step, confirming energy sources are isolated and alarms are functional. No single person can bypass these controls. Fixed gas detectors form a silent perimeter. Infrared sensors monitor for methane and propane, with alarm set points at 20 to 50% of the lower explosive limit. Signals flow to the control room, where logic solvers wait for a vote. 2 out of 3 detectors must agree before an emergency shutdown triggers. All actions are logged, time-stamped, and archived for audit. The superintendent knows, in this environment, safety is built on traceability and redundancy, and strict adherence to procedure. The system does not forgive improvisation. It demands discipline at every level. A superintendent stands at the heart of the refinery's control structure, not as a lone decision-maker, but as the conductor of a tightly orchestrated process. Every action begins with a checklist, printed or digital, detailing the precise sequence for each task. Nothing is left to memory. Before a single valve is touched, the operator and a verifier walk the route together, cross-referencing each isolation point against the marked P and ID. The valve handle is tagged, locked, and double-checked. Only when both sign off does the process advance. Sidney Dekker calls this adaptive buffering. Humans act as the final shield against system drift. Operators do not improvise. They execute, verify, and document. If a step is unclear, the process stops. Questions are escalated, never bypassed. Two-person verification is standard for critical isolations, with each worker reading aloud the tag number, confirming position, and logging the result. The superintendent observes not to intervene, but to ensure that the discipline of the process is respected. Every deviation, no matter how minor, creates a gap in the buffer. A missed step, a skipped sign-off, or a verbal confirmation without documentation can break the chain. Dekker's model shows that these gaps accumulate invisibly, eroding the time-to-failure buffer until a single oversight triggers a cascade. In the refinery, discipline is not a suggestion. It is the only thing separating routine maintenance from catastrophe. The human layer is not there to innovate, but to absorb uncertainty through strict adherence. Precision is not a virtue, it is a requirement. The system expects it, and so does every worker who steps inside the fence. A single lapse, a missed torque on a flange, or a misread gauge can set the failure chain in motion. Under pressure, hydrocarbons search for escape. A gasket, compressed thousands of times, develops a hairline gap. Through that gap, vapor jets into open space, expanding and cooling as it mixes with air. The gas cloud forms in seconds, invisible and mobile. Its shape depends on wind, obstacles, and the density of the vapor. Methane and hydrogen rise, but heavier fractions like propane and butane hug the ground, pooling in trenches and around equipment. The cloud's concentration is not uniform. Where it crosses the lower explosive limit, 5% by volume for methane and just over 2% for propane, it becomes ignitable. At this threshold, any spark is enough. A static discharge, a relay closing, even the heat from a running motor. Statistics show that in major incidents, clouds reach the lower explosive limit within 30 to 90 seconds of release. Once ignited, the flame front moves with the fuel, accelerating through congested pipe racks, picking up speed as it consumes vapor. Pressure waves follow, shattering windows and rupturing vessels in their path. The initial leak, measured in millimeters, has become an expanding fireball. Each link in the chain, from leak formation through cloud migration to ignition, unfolds in a strict sequence, governed by the physics of pressure, flow, and combustion. There is no warning siren for the point of no return. The system relies on early detection, disciplined isolation, and rapid intervention to keep the chain of control from closing. When these controls fail, escalation is measured not in minutes, but in the time it takes for vapor to find a spark. On March 23, 2005, a startup sequence at the BP Texas City Refinery failed in real time. A blowdown drum overfilled, sending a vapor cloud across the unit. Within minutes, the cloud ignited. 15 workers died. 180 were injured. The U.S. Chemical Safety Board's investigation traced the disaster to a breakdown in layered control, missing alarms, ignored procedures, and weakened oversight. John Breslin, CSB chair, stated that warning signs were present for years, but BP's focus on personal injury rates masked deeper process safety risks. The system depended on discipline at every level. When that discipline faltered, the consequences were immediate and irreversible. Corrosion thins pipe walls. Fatigue cracks spread beneath insulation, undetected until a scheduled inspection. Every hour, metal degrades and gaskets age, but maintenance can only address what is found in time. Economic pressure is constant. Shutting down a major process unit can cost several $1 million per day in lost production. Operations weigh the risk of running equipment longer against the cost of interruption. Deferred maintenance accumulates as invisible risk, while the drive to keep units online never stops. Vigilance is not a campaign, but a permanent condition. Every system holds until it doesn't. In refineries, risk is not eliminated. It is managed, measured, and contained, hour by hour. The margin for error remains razor thin. As demand persists, control is the only constant. The outcome always depends on the discipline of the process, never on chance.